Welcome back to Extra Features Interview. Today we have a man that can dance, and we're going to find out all about it in his film, Dance Baby Dance. Stephen Kogan, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Now, I guess the first question I have for you, do you have other talents beside tap dancing?
Really none that are discernible to anybody who would be interested. I can juggle barely, like I wouldn't do it anywhere outside in public, but for my own enjoyment, I can make it last for maybe 10, 15 seconds.
Oh, that's pretty good. It's better than I can do.
That's stretching the abilities of my talent. I had to go to the deep well there to find anything to answer that.
So what made you decide to do a film about dancing then?
The backstory of it is kind of unusual. I like taking walks on the beach out here. I live in Los Angeles. And as I was taking walks on the beach, at the time I was listening to a lot of like old school soul kind of music. For whatever reason, I was into that, and I still am. And so as I would walk and listen to these songs like Sam and Dave and Stevie Wonder, I just saw myself tap dancing to it. And it made me really happy, and it brought me joy. And I just said, you know what, I've always liked the underdog type stories. Why not come up with a story that combines the two, and then I'll have to tap dance in it. I should probably back up and say I'd never tap danced before in my life. So I had to teach myself how to tap dance for the film. But that was an enjoyable process. I genuinely fell in love with it.
Hold on. You made up a tap dancing film, and you've never tap danced before.
Yeah, that's not insane at all, is it?
No. Why would you want to do that? Okay, fair enough.
It's completely insane in hindsight. And there were times where I was going through it where I said, gee, was this a really stupid idea of me to do this? But, you know, that's when you push yourself even harder. And fortunately, it took about 2 years before we raised all the funding to get the film made. So I had 2 good years of practice.
But still, that's a lot of work to do in 2 years.
Yeah, I got to the point where I was good enough for the film. And the character I played, as you know, was a struggling tap dancer, was the best ever, or not even close. He was someone who was trying to recapture, and he was rusty and not that good at times. And we did utilize a tap double for more of the complex, better moves. So I knew from the outset that was always going to be something I would need to do. It was just how much will we need to use him? The less, the better. But he's definitely sprinkled in there.
From what I understood about your credits, how did you crowdfund this? Indiegogo?
No, there was a brand new thing that I don't even think exists anymore called Fanback. And I only did that because I used a crowdfunding manager, someone named Leah Savoli, who's a very successful crowdfunding manager. And she had just partnered with them and said, hey, if you come and do this with me, you won't have to give me any upfront fee. They're paying me. It's just a commission deal. And I said, great. There were some issues with them. Again, they're no longer there, but it worked. We raised our $30,000, and we were off and running.
So I guess the first thing, you have a lot of people in your film at different times. And yeah. I think the main person in the film is your wife in the film. And I really thought your chemistry was excellent.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
So tell me how you got her.
Yeah, Beverly Mitchell, for those who know of her, she's best known from Seventh Heaven, long-running TV show in the 90s. And then she's done a few more things after that, was in one of the Saw movies. And we just put out a casting, reached out to people and thought that she would be good for the role and reached out to her, and she said yes.
Yeah, I didn't realize she was a trained actress. I thought she was just somebody new, but I thought she was very good. I liked her face. She had very good expressions. Like, she seemed to get you. It seemed to work. And if you told me you guys were really married, I probably would have believed you.
Oh, really? That's good, because we met the day we filmed. So
oh, wow.
Really, and really, to be honest, she's been acting since she's been 4 years old. So she's been being on sets was old hand for her. For me, this was my first film. So it was great to have someone who was as experienced as her that I could play off of, because as soon as you say action, she's into her character right away. There's no hesitation. There's no, anything that throws you off. It's just she's there. And so that made it definitely easier to play off of, because we didn't have any rehearsal time. It was just go and do it, as a lot of indie films are.
Now, how would you cast your niece, I guess she is?
Yeah, that was, she was the one, actually, no, there was two characters that I cast very early. She, I felt, was one of the most important characters, and the relationship between my character and her character was going to be so important that I wanted to cast her very early and be able to work with her a lot. So Haley, we found through just a casting call. She auditioned. We called her back. She auditioned again, and I felt that she had the best combination of what I was looking for in the character, and she could also do a little tap dancing. So, and it was great. That allowed me to work with her. Like I said, we did a lot of Skype rehearsals and several in-person rehearsals, and I was very happy with how our chemistry came off in the film, our relationship.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed it again. And I thought she looked like your daughter more than the other woman could have been your wife. I was like, yeah, it could be.
Yeah, that's important too, that, there's some semblance of a believability that this could be someone you're related to. Although she wasn't he was my wife's niece. So, but it's still, it doesn't hurt if people believe that the characters look alike, if there is some kind of relationship like that.
Well, I thought in real life maybe she was your daughter. So I did look at the credits for that one. So let's check this out.
Never met her before in my life.
Oh, wow. Okay, location's always a big thing with indie film, and you have a couple of locations.
Yeah.
So where did you find your dance studio?
In a place called Torrance, California. I knew we were going to be filming the house scenes there because we had a house to use. So I wanted to find another place close enough so that any kind of moves would be easier. We wouldn't be, driving all over L.A. So I just visited a bunch of dance studios. We had a location scout who was trying to help us as well. But I actually found that one because one of the tap dancers in my film recommended it. And I went and visited it. And they were the only one that had multiple rooms and everything that we need. So even our basement scenes, we could film there. We just turned a karate studio into a basement.
Aha. Now, you do a lot of outdoor tap dancing.
Do a lot of what?
Tap dancing outdoors?
Yes, we did a bunch outdoors.
You get rained on. You do it in the sun. You do it in your garage. Does that board go everywhere with you? I don't even know what it's called.
Yeah, it's a company called Amara Sprung. It's a sprung tap floor, and it's portable. So yeah, anyone who owns those, and lots of tap dancers do, so they can take it wherever they go and practice, or if they're putting on shows anywhere. It's 4x4, I believe, so it's easy to carry around. And yeah, we took that everywhere, and it was great.
Did you at any time get sick of tap dancing?
Did I get sick of it? No. Like I said, I genuinely fell in love with it, and it was something. The filming of it is not always so easy because you can't just let yourself go and enjoy the moment. You have to worry about everything that the angles and the light, everything that goes into filmmaking. So that was tricky sometimes. But the actual tap dancing, no. I mean, the rain one, after a while, yeah, I got a little tired of that because I was drenched and freezing. But all the others I enjoyed.
Okay, so let's get into your film a bit more. I have a few questions I pulled out.
All right.
Okay, we have the owner of the dance studio who's sponsoring people.
Yes.
And then he's cutting your wife's classes. How does he have money for this? The sponsoring, I had issues with that.
Oh, how did he have money for it?
Yes.
Yeah, he it's like a gamble for him. Sometimes when you don't have a lot of money, but the only way you can get money is to pay something to make money. He looked at that as an investment, the kind of investment he needed to get back where he wanted to be financially. So, and then the things that started happening, the leaky pipes and things, that just made it all the more difficult, made the risk all the more tough for him, and that's why he had to be so correct in his choices, and why my character was such a bad choice.
See, that's the whole film, though. Is your character a bad choice or not?
Yes, I think he is a bad choice. For him, I think he's not. I mean, he plays the antagonist, but he really made a good business decision, because if you're betting money on who is the best dancer at a showcase, my character is the last one you should bet on. He's older than everyone. He's not as good as everyone. He's rusty, all, younger, healthier, talented people. If you're betting on somebody, you pick the best, fastest horse, not the slow mule.
You never know, though.
No, but I mean, think about if it's your own money and it's a big risk. It's not something that you are going to be comfortable parting ways with. You're going to want to put it on the people you have the most faith in. And he liked me as a person, but he just, I think correctly said these guys, and the other dancers were all better. It's just when you are a performer, it's what kind of connection can you make with the audience. That counts sometimes as half the battle. And that's what my character was relying on, making that connection.
Okay. So did you learn turns while you were dancing, like a running flaps?
Yeah, I learned all those turns. Like I said, never danced before in my life, so everything was never tap danced before in my life. So all of those paradiddles, all those, shuffle ball change, everything, every terminology is something that I had to learn.
I just want to know if you remembered them. That was all.
Yeah. No, once you know them, you don't forget them too easily.
I guess I should ask, do you still tap dance?
I don't as much as I wish I did, because I've just been so busy with other things. It's, back then in the training, I was dancing probably 6 days a week, either in my apartment on the board, or I'd go to a studio once a week. But then, I'm mainly a writer, and I want to do other projects, and I'm filming things here and there, and it just, the time gets away from you. And I did have a little bit of problems with my feet. I had something called plantar fasciitis,
Ow.
which caused me some pain, and the doctor recommended take a little break from the tap dancing and see how that goes. And so I had to take a little break.
That sucks.
Yeah, but I love to get back to it one day, just a matter of time.
So you reference Little Women in your film.
Yes.
Do you like Little Women?
Sure. I wouldn't say would make my top favorite movies of all time, but I read the book and I saw the movie. It's been a while, but I thought it was a cute line for her to make, so that's why I referenced it.
I'm going to have to ask you, which film did you watch? There's two.
A Winona Ryder one.
So the new one. Okay.
And again, it's been a while, so I barely remember most of it.
So you went to an ice cream shop at one point. Where did that come from?
Where did that come? The idea, or where did we go?
Where did you go?
There was a place in West Los Angeles called Scoops, and it was really, me and Haley thought me more than her. She didn't really know, but I thought I was going to dread the making of that scene, because I figured I'd have to eat a lot of ice cream and I'd get so tired of it, and we'd be spitting it out take after take. But nothing could be further from the truth. That ice cream was the best ice cream I've ever had in my life. And when we were finished filming, I ate more. It was just a certain texture. They make all of their ice cream, it's kind of like exotic stuff. So there's no like chocolate or vanilla or pistachio or any of the things that we normally associate with flavors. It was all, like unusual things that were their own recipes. And it was just delicious. It had an really good texture, and it wasn't too cold. There was no brain freeze. It was really good. So I'd recommend, if you're in West Los Angeles, there's other locations in Los Angeles called Scoops.
So I guess my next question is, why do you have a skull in the dance studio? I know it's for luck.
That's part of indie filmmaking. You try to be creative. Originally in the script, it was a good luck wall.
Oh, okay.
And so people would put their gum on the wall. Makes a lot more sense. But
yes.
Location-wise, we just couldn't get that with our schedule. We weren't going to be able to film it, because that scene was filmed at a different place. It was filmed at a theater in North Hollywood. And so I had to, on the fly, come up with something that I thought would still work because I wanted to keep that. I wanted that joke at the end with the bubble and that moment. And so I had to come up with that.
Fair enough. How did you find the writing process? Did you find it arduous? Did you find it flows for you?
Yeah, that's the easiest part for me because my history has been that of a writer. I've been out here for well over 15 years as a writer, and by far that came easiest to me. So, not arduous at all. Just I had the idea. I had a lot of the scenes I wanted to put in there, and you just let it go and you tell your story.
Now, when we get to the end of the film, we have a big showcase. I don't think I'm ruining anything. I think the film bleeds it there, and I think you know that early on.
Yeah.
That you're headed towards that. Now,
there's no...
I thought the stage was really small. I felt kind of bad that you couldn't really showcase a lot.
Yeah, again, in indie filmmaking, you sometimes have to live with what you get.
Yes.
And that's, there was a bunch of things... I've said this over to people, friends and things like that. If I got to direct this movie over again, how many things I would do differently now knowing what we did going into it. And yeah, that was one where, there were things where I wish the stage was bigger so you could do more. I wish there was other things we could do that so we could have showcased more. But you don't have that luxury in low budget filmmaking. You do the best you can with what you have and you hope for the best.
Now, where did you find your audience for that scene? Because you have a lot of people.
Yeah, we actually didn't have a lot of people. My special effects guy really did a bang-up job of making it look like we had a lot of people. And it didn't come about the way he originally thought. We were going to green screen, like 15 to 20 people, and then keep moving them around. That was the original plan. But we ran out of time. It was, we had to scramble. So we still did a bit of that. We moved our audience around, but not with the green screen to make it look like patches. And then he, on his own, went to a place where he filmed an actual audience. And we didn't use them a lot, but for our wider, bigger audience thing, to make it look like it was a huge house, we interspersed those in the editing process.
Okay. Because I'm like, there's a lot of people here. I don't think it's that big, but I'm going to have to ask.
Yeah, so, it was, hopefully, people didn't question that too much.
Well, I guess just me. I will, because I watch too much film and I notice things. I'm like, that's not right.
Yeah, so it was, that was, again, indie filmmaking. You make the best of what you have.
A couple of things. I'm forgetting now. The manager's secretary is the best way I can describe her.
Assistant
has one of the ugliest sweaters I've ever seen in my life near the end.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't into that. That's all wardrobe, and I guess I was in charge. I wasn't as bothered by it. I wanted her to wear stuff that was a little quirky,
That's what I thought you were going for. I'll totally give that to you. If you were going for that, you got it. Perfect.
Yeah, that's what I wanted her character to be. Someone who is a free spirit and just did not do what others would ordinarily do in situations.
So who did your backflip? And I know it wasn't you.
Oh, you didn't think it was me. It was a guy. We auditioned again. His name was Johnny. And the fun thing about that is this guy could backflip like you and I can walk.
Wow. Yeah, I could tell. It's not your fault. It's indie filmmaking. I could tell the edit was wrong. So I'm like, that's not right.
Yeah. But to be honest, you may be the only one because everyone asked me, was that you? And they're not asking in a way that they didn't think it was me because they don't think I can do a backflip. But even when we've screened it in theaters with strangers, they come up to me and comment about the backflip, and they're like, it looks like you, but was it?
No.
Because when
my God.
Do a backflip. So, yeah, not everyone, thankfully, is observant as you are.
It's just the edit. I watched so much film. I noticed the edit cut. I could tell you exactly. There it is. I could see the edit. It was easy for me. I guess it's just me. So,
yeah, things.
I always have to ask about catering because I find indie filmmaking food and feeding your crew yourself is the most important thing.
Absolutely. I knew that going in, that you can't pay everybody what you wish you could pay them, so you better feed them good. And I was really, really happy. Our first week especially, it was a local catering service in Torrance, and the food, and everyone raved about it. It was delicious. We did 2 pickup shots. The second batch of pickups, when we did the ice cream and when we did the small theater, we did like a little more sandwichy kind of stuff for that because it was a smaller crew, smaller cast. And then our last 3 days in Burbank, again, we got catering, and it was pretty good. So, no one complained about the food.
Well, that's good to hear. So your film is in the can. You're ready to go. What do you do with it?
I was find a distributor. That was all. My entire focus was finding somebody who could do the best with it. I knew I didn't want to self-distribute because I've never made a film before. I wanted somebody who knew what they were doing. Even though I felt in some ways I had the infrastructure to self-distribute because I spent those years before we filmed pre-building our audience by compiling a list of 9,000 dance studios and just creating relationships, and we built up our Facebook page to over 20,000 people. And so there was infrastructure there for an audience once we came out, but I knew nothing about how to do it properly, and I just wanted a company that did know how. So we found a distributor named Indie Rights who is very popular with indie films, and went from there.
So for your dance scenes, you have a lot of dancers. Did you audition them? Were they friends of yours? Where did they come from?
Yeah, the guy who played Ray Vaughn was an audition. I thought he was great in his audition dance-wise, and I really liked that he was what's the word? He was a mentee of Debbie Allen. So I knew that he, if anyone who works with her is probably going to be professional, kind of probably going to, do everything the right way. And so a combination of, I thought he was good for the role. I liked his dancing and the Debbie Allen connection. I liked that and felt good about that. The ballet dancer, there's a show called So You Think You Can Dance.
Yes.
On Fox. And the year that we were filming, the year right before we were filming, he was on that season. And he came in, he was one of the top 6 finalists. And so we were scrambling to cast that role. For a while I had Katy Perry's, one of her choreographers, I was trying to get him to do it. And he'd never been in film before. He'd never done that kind of thing before. And he was kind of interested. And then finally he said, I'm just not comfortable doing a film. I like choreographing. So we had to scramble again. And so we're reaching out to people and found Jim through his Twitter page. He had his email there and just reached out to him because otherwise, he wasn't repped by anybody or anything like that. And just great coincidence, he had just that week moved to L.A. and was excited about doing this kind of opportunity. So worked out for us. And he was great. And then some of the other dancers, one, Ellen Kim, one of the 2 girl dancers at the end who danced as a duet. She's a well-known YouTube dancer. So I reached out. She actually auditioned for one of the roles. So I
the
knew
tap
her.
Dancer, right?
No, she was the hip-hop one, the one who kind of introduced the showcase.
She's really good.
And then the other girl, Michelle May, is a tap dancer who I knew of through meeting and getting to know tap dancers. And she's brilliant and has helped, was helpful in getting us our block to sponsor our tap shoes and helped, like I said, with the dance studio connection. So, I was very, very happy with all the dancers we found.
Sure. You just mentioned the sponsors. Did you have other sponsors for the movie besides Block?
Yeah, well, the tap floor, the Amara Sprung floors, they sent us the tap board, and so they were the sponsor of that.
So, did you do any film festivals?
Nope. Went straight. Did a 1-week theater run in L.A., and that kind of prohibited us. And again, that's part of my learning process. I ask myself sometimes, would I go back and do festivals? I've I've heard differing things from filmmakers because I talk to a lot of people. Some say the best thing about festivals is it helps you, the filmmaker, in your career. It depends on what the festival it is, but it doesn't always benefit your film, and unless it's a major tier 1 festival like Sundance or one of those. So I kind of wanted to get going. It had been a 4-year process at this point. I wanted to start making, hopefully, back some of the money to pay the investors. And so when we went with the distributor and they had a plan of putting it in a theater for a week and then going out, VOD and eventually DVDs, which just came out on, and we're on a new channel, a new Roku channel, which they're excited about. So, no festivals.
How was seeing your film on the big screen for the first time?
It's surreal. And the great thing of this film specifically, it's a much better film on the big screen because I always knew it was a shared audience type film. We did one screening out after LA. We did a bunch of screenings, but one that we sold out the house, like 180 people. And every joke, the laughs are loud and the tap dancing and the cheering and everything. It's such a better movie when it's that shared audience and everyone is enjoying it that way. It really is. I'm not going to say night and day, but it's a better movie experience for anyone watching it that way. Any kind of dance film, I think, would be.
So what will your next film be about?
The next one I want to do, that I want to direct, is going to be more in my wheelhouse. I'm more of a comedy writer. That's most of what I've done. And this is going to be a very, very quirky comedy about an inventor who finally invents his lifelong white whale, which is a flying car. And the quest is about whether, he can actually pull this off, and about his family, and they're all kind of lovably kooky. And so it's going to be a very kind of indie, quirky comedy that hopefully I get to do.
Are you ready for some fun questions?
I am always ready for fun questions.
Okay, your favorite soul song?
Favorite soul song? There's a bunch of them. I'll pick one from Gladys Knight and the Pips did a version of Marvin Gaye's Heard It Through the Grapevine.
I know it.
And I love that song ever since I first heard it. It's my favorite version of the song. And yeah, I would say if that's not my favorite, it's tied for the top, or, at least top 3.
I always have to ask, because you live in LA, do you like In-N-Out Burger?
I'm not in love with it. I prefer McDonald's if I do fast food. The fries are not that great.
Really?
I grew up back east. So if you grow up in LA, for some reason, In-N-Out Burger is the only thing that exists. For me, the burger is good, but I think there's better burgers. And I don't eat fast food a lot, so I'm not an authority on it. So, but for me, I could eat that, or a Carl's Jr. or a Fat Burger. They're all about the same grade, I would give. But the fries are definitely the lowest of any of them if I'm ranking them.
Fair enough. Have you ever been to the Magic Castle?
No, I haven't.
Okay, then I'll ask you a different question. What's the one film on your DVD rack I'd find strange it being there?
Ooh, on my DVD rack. See, you probably won't find this strange, although everyone I know would, because I did a dance film, but something like Chicago. I have more of like a comedy background and a big sports kind of, fan of things like that. So when people say, oh, I like musicals, they're always surprised. I don't know, because I made a dance film, if you would be as surprised by that, though.
Probably not now, knowing you made a dance film, but if I just walked in your house and went, well, that's strange. That's all good. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for... tell everybody where they can find your film. I almost cut you off. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah, they can go to the website, www.dancebabydancemovie.com. We have everywhere you can see it. It's on... If you have Amazon Prime, you can watch it for free. Otherwise, you can rent it there or buy it there. It's on iTunes. It's on Vudu. Like I said, we're on... If they have Roku, you can watch it there for free as well, because our distributor just... partnered with them to create their own channel called Indie Rights Free Movies. And so all of their movie catalog, over 300 movies or so, are on there. You can find us in the drama section or in the comedy section and in the theater section, because we screened at Arena Cine Lounge, the name of the theater. So, again, a free way to watch it. And we're also now out on DVD. You can buy it straight off of the website.
Will you sign it for them?
I would definitely sign it for them if they want it.
Well, that's good to hear. Well, thank you for your time. You were wonderful.
Oh, I appreciate it. This was a lot of fun.
Have a good night.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, I just want to say thank you for listening to this great interview. We have more on our website at www.extrafeatures.ca. And if you enjoyed it, can you please go to iTunes and leave us an iTunes review and like us on our Facebook page. Thank you.